If you are looking for a job abroad, you are in the right place. Welcome to Start Your International Career, your guide to finding a job abroad. In this episode, we have Fernando Caro, who is working in private banking in Switzerland and who is coming from Spain. I'm really excited to have you today because, well, Fernando is my friend. We met in Madrid while we both were working there, but you are not from Madrid, neither I am. We met there because we moved already from our cities. And I remember when we both were looking for a job outside Spain, of course, who was exactly at the same time. And I remember we went through the same struggle, doing a lot of interviews, failing, another interview. So it's great to be here today, both of us, outside of Spain.
Yeah.
So first of all, I want you to introduce yourself for the audience. Where are you coming from? What did you study? A bit about your experience.
Okay. Yeah. As Juanma said, I am from Jaén. It is a little city in the south of Spain. I have been living there for 21 years. I studied there law degree. And after that, I moved to Madrid. This is where I met Juanma because I was working there for wealth management. I was in a very big bank working as a private banker. Yes, after some years, it was 3 years, I decided to move abroad because I wanted to look for new opportunities and, of course, to get improving my career and to work for my future, no? And yeah, we will speak now, but there were many reasons because chose Switzerland, and I think that my decision was the correct one.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, I think you mentioned briefly, but didn't go into detail. What did you study in Jaén?
I studied law. Yeah,
Studied law.
degree. It has nothing in common with what I am doing now because I work in a bank. I work in wealth management. It's true that the law degree is very extensive and gives you a lot of skills that are very useful for any job, no? So I always recommend if there is people who doesn't know what to do, a law degree is a very good option because in the reality, the life is based on the law. And this is the first thing you study in your career from the Roman Imperium. All is based on the law. And it gives you a lot of skills because every time you go to the street, all is based on law. There are rules that you have to take, no? Yeah.
Yeah, we take everything for granted, like
Yeah.
everything that is out there, but it's true that it comes from somewhere, right? Someone wrote those
Yeah.
rules.
Yeah.
Someone wrote that. So
Yeah, and we will speak later, no? In Switzerland, there are a lot of rules and they have to be taken, no? And if you don't take, it's not your country.
yeah, you need to follow the rules if you're here. Yeah, no skipping. True. We'll talk about that later. Cool. So thank you for the introduction. I think you already skipped a bit to my first question, which is why did you want to move to Switzerland?
Yeah, as I said, I used to work in Madrid at wealth management. I was a private banker. And I had the chance of knowing the business that the bank I was working on had on Switzerland, and I felt really attracted. No, I tried to move internally, but it was not possible. So I started to look for the opportunity to come here. No, because I thought that Switzerland was the place where I could improve my career, and because it has got a very good name in my sector.
Yeah.
And
If you're in banking, Switzerland is
yeah,
top, right?
yeah, the history of the country even is based on the banking business, no? So this is the main reason, no? I wanted to improve. I wanted to have international career and to have this experience because there is other ways of doing banking that maybe are not established in Spain, despite of there are Swiss banks in Spain.
Okay.
But I wanted to have the chance of having this experience, knowing other cultures, and of course, I found here what I was looking for, no? Because I have been lucky, no? And I am working now for Mexican clients. So I have had the opportunity of knowing an incredible culture that is very linked with the Spanish culture. and it's a great country where there are a lot of business opportunities and there is really good people to know. Yeah.
Sounds great. So you already had a first contact when you were in Spain about the business that your bank in Switzerland was doing. So that was the first, let's say, the first spark that you say, hey, I like what these guys are doing. Let's see if I can move there. So that correlates with my second question, which is, how did you get your job? Because you first mentioned that you tried to move internally, but it was not possible. I guess you needed to move to a different company.
Well, I got my job looking for a lot, looking for in LinkedIn, looking for in many websites related to job opportunities in Switzerland. I did a lot of contacts in LinkedIn. I tried to write all the people I could. I remember that, for example, my boss in Madrid had a friend who was working here. So I tried to contact this guy and speak with him and maybe take some advice from him. And he helped me to get some interviews. Finally, they didn't work, but well, I was in the role, no? And it took me a lot of time.
How
It
much
took
time?
1 year.
1 year since you started applying.
Yeah, it's true that it was COVID, and here in Switzerland affected like 1 year later than in Spain. And yeah, and there were some banks that stopped many of the processes, and
Difficult job market.
was difficult. Even I started in a bank that I did an interview 1 year before, but they stopped, and after 1 year they called me and they gave me the opportunity. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So finally, the job offer that you got was from an interview that you did 1 year
Yeah,
previous.
yeah. Of course, I was doing a lot of pressure. Maybe every 3 months, I was writing to the people of this bank. And finally, after 1 year, they called me and they gave me the opportunity. And I remember this moment was incredible, no? Because, yeah, sometimes when you want something and you want it a lot, and you can feel a bit anxious, no? But if you try and you've got a good profile, in the end, you will find the opportunity, of course.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You need to be persistent. You need to have a plan. You need to follow it. And yeah, as you said, put some pressure from time to time. Wow. 1 year.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
If I can give an advice to the people who are really wanting to come to Switzerland, is to be patient. There is a lot of people who wants to come here, and of course, there is a lot of Swiss people who are really good, who are coming from really good universities, and of course, they've got a priority, no? So here's the difficultness, no? Because if all the people is wanting to come, there is a reduced market, and if there is a reduced market, your opportunities are not so high.
Yeah, yeah. We always talk about that, about the competition in the Swiss job market. Like it's crazy competitive. I don't know how to compare it to other countries, but here, as you said, you already have a base of Swiss people or Swiss residents that are very prepared, plus all the competition from the outside, which is also super prepared. So yeah, I think it's one of the most difficult countries to get in.
Yeah, and I have to add that they do one thing really well, because they invest in the people that are studying here. So they give a priority of make these people to find a job, no? So sometimes the companies here has to justify why a Spanish guy is coming, no? So this is where you have to mark the difference. In my case, for example, was the language, no? Because I work with Latam clients, so they need people who speak Spanish, no, to do the business, no. So
That's
yeah.
cool. That was your advantage. What some other people could take as a weakness, wow, I don't know German, I need to go to Zurich. But in your case, it was your advantage that you
Yeah.
knew Spanish because you needed to handle Latin American clients. Wow.
Yeah.
So I think, and this is also a really good point, what you mentioned about giving priority to the people here. It makes sense, right? Because if you're training people here, if you're spending money
Yeah.
on people studying here, makes no sense economically maybe to hire people from the outside
and
who you didn't invest
they are
in.
people who grew here, who are adapted to the culture, who loves the country, you know. And Yeah, I think it is a good thing. No,
Yeah,
they've
for
got a
sure.
great system,
For Switzerland, it is.
and in Spain we've got a lot of things to learn from Swiss people.
I agree. I agree. There's a lot that everyone, not only Spain, but everyone can learn from the Swiss culture overall. Of course, goods and bads, but yeah, overall, good. So, talking about your job search, we already discussed how difficult it was, but is there any specific point that was a really big challenge for you? Any specific?
Well, not specific. It was
Like the biggest challenge?
I think the biggest challenge is to keep up looking for to not getting sad if there is a company who doesn't do you an interview or who reject you in a job. No, so this is the main thing that I found more difficult because sometimes you want to come but you can't, and the case is to wake up and still follow looking for.
Yeah, to follow the plan and
Yeah, follow the plan, and I had to think about, okay, now I've got a good job in Madrid, so my opportunity will arrive, and of course, I was in a good position, so yeah. But then I saw you were going to Brussels, and I said, come on, Juanma is leaving, and I am here, no? So
Yeah, that's true. We were both looking at the same time, and I got the job offer first, but you got it 1 month after.
yeah, one
so.
month after. Yeah, I was saying goodbye to you when I received the offer. Yeah.
True. Yeah, that's good. Cool. So we've walked past the part of the job search on why you wanted to come here. Then the next one is for the general public. Can you please explain briefly what do you do in private banking?
Well, in private banking, we help people who has got a high net worth to keep their money safe and to help them with investments.
Okay, so it's like normal banking, but more specific for people who have a lot of money.
Yeah, not more specific, but with a more sophisticated product with an investment advice that is better than the advice that you are going to get in the street, no?
Okay, I see. So it's some banking that I'm not able to have like in the app, in the normal app. It's more personalized and it's more sophisticated.
Well, today all the banks are improving a lot in technology, so it's something that you are going to be able to manage with your app. But due to there are biggest amounts of money, you prefer that it is managed by an specialist.
I see. Okay. Cool. Clear. Then I think this is a question interesting for everyone because banking in Switzerland, everything sounds so flashy. So can you please tell us what is the salary range for your position, for example, when you started in Switzerland, which was account manager, right?
Well, the salary range depends a lot on your experience, your studies. It varies into the bank you are because there are banks who pays more, there are banks who pays less. And something I recommend to the people who are looking for a job and who are speaking with other people that they don't know personally, but they write on LinkedIn or they receive a call from them, is never ask, how much do you earn? No, because it is a question that sometimes it's like, I met this guy by telephone today and he's asking me that. So it is a bit indiscreet. Yeah.
Okay.
I will say that if someone wants to know, there is a lot of portals like Glassdoor where you can find the salaries depending on the position and sometimes depending on the bank that you are applying for, and you can check that.
Okay. Then getting practical, what advice do you have for someone who wants to move to Switzerland to private banking specifically?
Well, first of all, I will say that he should know what he can do now, because all depends on the experience, all depends on if you've got a book of clients. It depends a lot, no? Because if you don't have a book of clients, you are not going to be able to become a private banker, for example, no? So maybe you have to start in a position of assistant or account manager. If you've got a book of clients, you can do a business case and develop a business as a private banker. I think this is the first thing you have to do because sometimes you don't have the experience, but you are applying for many vacancies that sometimes they don't adapt to your profile. So if you do a lot of applications to a bank, maybe those banks keep your CV in a box and they will never call you back. No,
Uh-huh.
so sometimes you are doing a lot of work and that doesn't produce you anything.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have clear what you can do in what you can do as a professional here.
All right. Okay.
I
So,
don't know if I explained, but basically is that if you try to send the CV for many vacancies that doesn't adapt to your profile,
mhm.
it is better that you don't do. No.
Okay. So, first of all, would be analyze if you have a portfolio of clients that you can bring to that bank,
Mhm.
because that's your biggest asset, right? And that is money to the bank. And then see if you really match that position. Don't apply to any random position, right?
Yeah, because there is people who has got like 2 years or 3 years of experience and wants to develop a career as a private banker, and it is impossible.
Hmm.
Only if you get the case that the bank gives you the portfolio and says to you, okay, Fernando, come here. I've got a portfolio of clients and you're going to manage. But it doesn't happen usually.
Okay.
There are two options. You start as an assistant and you can develop your career in the bank, that it's possible. And in the end, if you work hard and you are time and you get the confidence of the people from the clients, you will get it.
Mhm.
Or you come as a private banker and developing a business case.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see. So either you come here to help other private bankers and start really from scratch, from the
Mhm.
bottom, and then you get
Yeah.
your
Of
relationship
course, in
with
wealth
clients.
management, there are many other opportunities. I'm speaking more in the front office part, but there are a lot of investment funds here. There is a lot of market in private equity. And we've got, for example, Partners Group, that is a really big company dedicated to private equity. And there are many other companies. There are family office. So there is a lot of options to choose, no?
Mhm.
But people have to do a research, no, because wealth management is a biggest business that maybe some people are thinking about. So,
Yeah, especially in Switzerland.
but this is something that I discovered when I came here, no. Yeah.
Okay, so that's your advice. Do your research before
Yeah, do
coming
your
here.
research, speak with people, always, of course, being polite, not being so pushy, no, because if someone doesn't answer to a message, maybe he's on holidays or he has got a lot of work. I've got a lot of requests every month in LinkedIn of people who wants to come here. Of course, I always answer them because I remember when I was trying to come here,
Yeah,
and I appreciated a lot the people who helped me, no?
absolutely,
But now,
100%.
after 4 years, I think that I have helped more people to come than the people who helped me, no? Yeah.
Yeah, but you got a point there, and it's actually the reason why I started the podcast, because I remember the people that helped me when I was trying to go abroad and I was completely lost, and the people that really shared helpful advice made all the difference. So now you try to be that person and help others. That's also why you're here in the podcast.
Yeah, yeah, and I like that. Especially, I receive the requests from Spanish people, and I like to help them. No,
Yeah, yeah.
and I think that the Spanish people are really hard workers, and they make the difference here in Switzerland. Yeah, I have had the opportunity, and I think we've got another philosophy, and it is a type of worker that are really appreciated. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Cool. So now we've covered some tips for the people who want to come here. And now I want to get really specific on the tips. For example, I know that certifications is a big topic in terms of finance. So is there any certificate like CFA or similar, or any specific experience that you think it's helpful here?
Yeah, of course. The as much as you have, the better will be. No, if you are CFA, you will have more chance of coming here. As I said to you, the wealth management industry is not only private banking. If you are trying to take a research analyst position or an advisory position, or you are going to a family office to provide advice to a family. Of course, having a CFA or a Kaya is a very helpful thing.
But how important it is to have it? Would you say it's mandatory?
It's not mandatory. No, it's not mandatory. Even there is people who have been developing their career like 30 years here and they don't have any certification.
Okay.
In the part of private banking, in the part of research of equities or investment funds or sales of an investment fund, it is really appreciated, of course. But sometimes in the private banking part, it is more important your social skills than your knowledge, no? Because the relationship managers, they do a more social and they can take the part of the investments from other specialists that are in the bank, no?
Yeah, I see. So networking is, depending on the position, more important than the actual technical knowledge. I remember when you were studying for your certificate, and it took a lot of time or a lot of effort at least. So you would say that it is 100% worth the effort.
Yeah, well, I've got a certification that I prepared when I was working in Madrid, that is the European Financial Advisor. It was helpful for me because it gives you knowledge and skills that you need, no, to provide an advice, especially because it is mandatory in Europe to be certificated or to have some certifications, no. Then when I came to Switzerland, I prepared the Kaya, that is the certificate for alternative investments. And I didn't pass it, but it took me a lot of time to prepare that. Of course, I think it was not a wasting of time because I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And I was not doing for the certification, I was more doing that to get knowledge of a part that I was interested and that I didn't know so much. Obviously, I would like to have passed it, but it is a topic that I've got in my mind, and in a moment I will try to come back, no, to
Yeah.
take it.
But it is what it is, right? You're here today, everything's going well, so it didn't really harm you that much to not have
No,
the
no, no. Of
certificate.
course, it is like not coming to Switzerland in that moment. No, I knew that in a moment I was going to get it, so I know that in a moment I will get the certificate. Of course.
Cool. So you mentioned briefly about the Spanish workers, how much they are valued here. And I wanted to ask you a bit more about that. How different it is working in Switzerland compared to Spain?
It is really different. Yeah. In Spain, there is other type of culture. When I work in Madrid, I used to work a lot, like
Long
one day,
hours.
10 hours,
Wow.
11 hours. I left the office maybe at 8 in the night, 9 in the night. And it's true that I had a lot of work and a lot of things to do. But here in Switzerland, they respect that a lot. No,
They respect the working hours.
if you've got a lot of work, there is two options. No, you get paid hours, or maybe you are in a situation that you need any support. No, so there is a culture of what in Spain they want to do, no, to a mix of balance of life and balance of work, and I think they do that really good.
Yeah, here in Switzerland, they respect your free time. Like
Yeah.
your working hours are your working hours. If you need to do extra time, that extra time is paid, of course, and it's actually really investigated. Why do you need to do
Yeah.
extra time? It's like, okay, you cannot finish your working during your working hours. Why? In Spain, it's taken for granted. In Spain,
Yeah,
it's
and sometimes in Spain, people who was more time in the office was better.
Yeah.
It was a silly thing.
yeah, just
Of
being
course.
in the office for long hours, it's better
Here,
than
they don't
going
do
home.
that. If they are in the office, it is because they've got a high workload.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good difference. Then, talking about differences and talking about something you like about Switzerland, tell me what is the best and the worst about living here.
Well, the best is that all works perfect. All is organized, all is clean, all is on the time. It's not a joke. All is on the time, no? And you have to take the tram, and you know that it's going to be at 1:30, and it's on 1:30. And the way of living is different than in Spain. All is more calm, and there is a lot of life balance. It is a country that increase your desire of doing sports, doing other type of plans that that we didn't do in Madrid. No, that life was different.
Yeah, here we are
And
healthier. Yeah.
yeah, we are healthy. Last year I ran a half marathon. That is something that if you say to me that 4 years ago, I will say you're crazy.
Yeah, but you
And
did it. Yeah.
yeah, and especially I like of Zurich. That is a very international city. People usually are very open, and you live really well. For me, I've got a very good quality of life because I can go by walk to my work. When I was in Madrid, I had to take the car and take 30 minutes.
Hmm.
A really good thing of Switzerland is what we were speaking about of the work balance, and they appreciate you if you do a good job. And what I like of Switzerland is to have a lot of opportunities to do many things that I didn't used to do, like knowing other sports like hockey, skiing.
Hmm.
Yeah. And the worst thing I will say it is the weather. For me, the winter is really hard because there are months that we don't see the sun. Depends on the year, but on the contrary, the summer is incredible.
Hmm.
It's comparable to. And the worst, I think, it is the weather. In winter, it's not so good. There are some months that you don't see the sun, and it is a bit hard. But on the contrary, if you like winter sports, it's a very good season. There is a lot of
Ski resorts.
ski resorts where you can go and where you can spend the weekend. So it's incredible for the people who like this. It is their favorite month,
Yeah.
and there is a really good thing that you can go by train. Every ski station you want.
Mhm.
And you, for example, from Zurich, you've got like 1 hour ski stations. So if you like to do that, it is your country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it is. I mean, winter can be so bad for some people if you don't like winter sports.
Mhm.
But for me, that I tried for the first time here and I learned how to snowboard. Now I love it. I cannot
Yeah.
wait for next winter to come. Okay, so that was the best and the worst about living in Switzerland. Now I want to finish with two deep questions.
Mhm.
Well, maybe not finish because then I will ask you three quick questions. But in terms of
Okay.
deep questions, I want to ask you first, how has living abroad changed how you see yourself?
Well, I think that I have changed maybe my mentality. I am more open minded because being abroad and living the comfortable life I had in Spain has made me to meet other people that maybe in Spain I will never meet, and to do a match with a lot of type of different people, no?
Hmm.
And you see all the people are equal to you. And sometimes you feel lower state, no? Because
Yeah.
now you feel like an immigrant, no?
Yeah. Now you
And
are the foreigner. Yeah,
yeah, I am the
exactly.
foreigner, no? And it is something that changed a little, no? Because you see people who come to Spain in another side.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, I am aware that I came here to have a good life, and I respect all the things of their culture, and I respect all the rules. So I changed my mind, but of course I want that people who comes to Spain do the same, no? Yeah.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. Yeah, I think being feeling like a foreigner for the first time,
Uh-huh.
it's something that changes your mind because when you're in your country, in your city, and you see people coming from the outside or you see foreigners, it's so easy to judge
Yeah.
because you've never been
Yeah.
there. But once you're there, once you arrive here and you don't speak the language, people treat you differently.
Yeah, there are
It's
different rules. You can't do the laundry after 9 p.m. and yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, there are a lot of different things that you have to change your mind. being aware that you are in a different place.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it makes you richest because you are getting a better culture, no?
Yeah, you're getting experience, you're
Yeah.
getting perspective. You
Mhm.
realize everything is not what happens in your hometown. There is more. The world is bigger
There
than
is
that.
more, yeah.
Cool. So the second deep question is, if you could go back when you started
Mhm.
with your job search to move to Switzerland, is there anything you would have done differently?
Well, I mentioned that before because I used to apply to many positions that maybe I was not made for, no?
Mhm.
So maybe I will be more focused on what I could do. But this is something that I learned by doing that, no? And this is why I recommended that don't do many applications because maybe from human resources you are going to be seen in a bad mood, no?
Yeah, I see.
But I have to say that I did the things in a way that work, so I don't apologize of anything I did. Yeah.
No, it's true. In the end, you're here, so you made it. But I think that's a good tip. Don't, if it's the same company, don't apply for 30 different positions. It makes no sense, right? For
Yeah.
the people, as you said,
Because you
in
think
HR.
that you are the best one and you are going to be hired, but the reality is that there is a lot of competence and there is a lot of people who can do the job or almost are supposed to do the
Yeah,
job better and you are not going to be considered, no?
yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so finish with the deep questions. Now it's only 3 rapid questions with
Mhm.
3 rapid answers as well.
Okay.
First one, which is your favorite local food?
I would say this is schnitzel. Yeah.
Okay.
There is not such a big variety of local food, but will be one of my favorites. Yeah.
Okay, schnitzel is good. Maybe people in Austria or Germany will kill you for saying that is Swiss, but it's true. Here in Switzerland, they
Yeah.
serve it really well. Cool. The second one is one book that you recommend. It can be any topic.
Okay, I will recommend the last one I have read. That is the Triunfo de la Estupidez from Jano Garcia, who is a political analyst in Spain, and it analyzes the actual political situation from a very good perspective, especially analyzing the human and the behavior of the humans, because we always think that we are the most clever, and we think that in the past they were like silly people now, but it is said that in the future they.
Okay, good recommendation. And then the last one is, what is the best advice that you have ever received?
I would say to treat others like you would like to be treated, and
All
it
right.
is something that you have to apply in every situations in your life. For example, in my case or in my job, I try to manage the wealth or to treat the clients like I would like to be treated, no? And I like to see in the other side someone like my mom or my grandma, no? So
Yeah.
I would like that my family is treated in a good way. Yeah.
Okay, that's powerful. Yeah, it sounds simple, but it's really powerful. You don't mess with your mama's money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we finish with that. Thank you very much, Fernando. I think it was a great episode. You gave a lot of tips for people who want to move to Switzerland, and specifically in the wealth management.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it was a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. And of course, if you want to come to Switzerland and to know more about how to come, you have to reach Juanma, who is an specialist and he has got a very good network, so he's going to be able to help you.
If you enjoyed this conversation, follow me and share it with someone who wants to move abroad. And if you are on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, please like and rate the show with 5 stars. It really helps me a lot more than you think. Thank you very much and see you on the next one.